Momentum hour. We're here. It's time. Let's do it. I'm excited today because momentum hour is something that we often talk about when we have a ton of momentum, or we talk about when we are trying to build momentum, when we're trying to get to that next level, when we're grabbing on to things, compiling it together and moving through to the next thing. But I want to talk about something a little bit different with you today, producer Rachel. I want to talk about what happens when you don't have momentum.
How funny you should say that, Jim. I am like in that weird space right now. Let me shut this off because I was doing so well. Everything was going great. I had the energy, I had the momentum. And then just between yesterday and today, like there's just this dip. And I can't figure out if it's just I'm overwhelmed and I don't know like what to do first. Maybe I ate too much sugar over the weekend and it's a physical thing, like where my brain and my body are acting differently and I'm not drinking enough water. Or the third thing that I was talking to my husband today was, when you get in those stretches where it's just like work, 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 and you're not doing like your passion project, right? Like I'm putting the children's book stuff to the side right now so I can get the to-do list done. It sort of triggers a depression a little bit where you're just like, wow, I'm not doing the thing that makes me happy. I'm doing the things I have to get done. And it could be a combination of all three, but like, what do you do when all of a sudden you're like, you feel that dip and you don't have momentum and you can't like get that engine rubbing to do the next best thing?
I think it's a combination of everything. And I think when we feel it most, the combination comes down all at once. You know, you put the sugar into it, maybe lack of sleep into it. You had a stressful weekend this past weekend.
Yes, I did. I started at Motor City Comic Con with like a press pass for the first time, which was awesome. And then had to leave to bring my husband to the emergency room because he was an AFib. And so that in and of itself, I think literally took all of my adrenaline away. Does that make sense? I was so excited to be doing something finally on an assignment technically. And then just at the drop of a dime, it completely just changed my whole day. He's doing fine. Everything's fine. But like when you have that moment of like, oh my God, is my husband going to die? There goes all your adrenaline. And then on top of it, so I feel like it's just a pile-on, probably just a pile-on of energy. On top of it, my son is in Washington, D.C. So like my brain is literally like, I feel like my heart is out of my body. And then my daughter got sick yesterday and I had to pick her up from school. So it's just like all these things compounded. And so literally my energy is just here. Like I just can't get myself to like care enough to go this way and get that momentum and keep going again. So yeah, it's a pile on.
Well, I think in those moments, part of it is identification and identifying and coming to a level of awareness, right? You're aware now. You just had to think through. You're like, oh my God, I had this happen and this piled on and this. Like that's such a great stage because now you can identify it. I think whenever I'm in those slumps of momentum, I often struggle to identify it, right? Because I'm like, what's going on? Why is this happening? What's the feeling? When I realize, okay, it's this thing or that thing or this, or wow, that actually happened, I start to feel just a little bit better. That doesn't create the momentum and bring the positivity back, everything's fine. Uh, but at least it starts that process of clarification. When you started feeling all that, what do you typically do? Like, do you try to push through? Do you rest? And I'll share kind of just something that works for me. Whenever that comes crashing down, I will take off a few hours and do the thing that does give me the energy, that does focus on gym, that does make me just enter into a different state. A lot of it can be movement, a lot of it can be calling a friend, a lot of it can be venting. In some cases, I will go back to text messages and testimonials or instances where I need that energy burst. Um, I have a million different things I do, and I don't think there's a framework that I can give you to say, "Go do this one thing and it will work." I think it really has to start with awareness and then move to what makes sense for you. So, when you are feeling that, what is the thing that you wanna do or that excites you or can give you a burst of positive energy or momentum?
So yesterday, I allowed myself to nap because I grabbed my daughter from school. When I haven't napped in so long, like
I was
naps
gonna
used to be
say,
the thing to like switch my energy immediately. But I haven't done it in so long. And so I knew that, okay, she's sleeping in the next room. She has a fever. I'll check on her. Everything's fine. Um, I knew she didn't need to go to the doctor. And then I knew I also had to cancel whatever activity she had later that day, which is why I would have had to stay up to keep working. Right. And so now that I knew, okay, my whole evening's canceled. My son's not here. She's not going to be able to eat dinner. So I'll just order something for my husband. So also now my evening of having to cook dinner is canceled. I knew I was like, I can shut off and then come back to whatever I was doing later when I get up. And so I just gave myself the grace, right? I think a lot of times I just push, I push, I push, I push. Just I'm just gonna do this one other thing. And I started to, like I laid in bed and I started to like, oh, I'm just gonna edit this one video. Like my wrist hurts from editing, literally. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna put everything away. I'm gonna shut everything off. I'm gonna turn off my notifications. My
power
daughter
to
needed
you.
right. And I haven't done that in so long. And so there's something so magical about a nap that sort of when you start to feel that pile on where you're just like, okay, now it's just negative, negative, negative. It sort of switches that energy. And it did. I allowed myself to nap for as long as I needed to. I did not set an alarm. I gave my body the time it needed. And then because I used to get scared I'm going to feel crappy when I wake up from the nap, and I haven't. It just doesn't work that way. If I give my body the time, I felt great. And then I got so much more work done. I think I stayed up till 11 with no issues and just got a ton of stuff done. So yesterday, finally, I just gave my body what it needed. But normally it would be go for a walk where I'm just like, screw
Mhm.
everything and just go for the walk because nothing else is working, right? Doing more work's not going to help me. We sort of talked about this yesterday in one of the trainings that we did with Nate about breath work and moving. And one of the things, I don't think I mentioned it in that, but I probably mentioned it to you before is I catch myself, especially when I'm stressed, I'm not breathing. I take these like short breaths and my body's not getting the oxygen. And so I think that's another thing too, where it's like, I need to just get myself to just breathe and just calm down and get oxygen to everything. So those are the
Y
few things that I do.
you hit on so much right there. 1, proud of you. Like, the nap, it's very hard to do when you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, a mom, a dad. Maybe you're running multiple businesses, maybe you have different jobs, different shifts, you've got family responsibilities, it's tough to do that. Proud of you, proud of you. It's funny you say the nap because I was talking to one of the Impact Effect members last week, and he was feeling burnout, and he had a big week, a lot going on, a lot of successes, a lot of positive momentum, and he's like, "I just woke up and I wasn't feeling well, so I just canceled everything this afternoon and took a nap." Saturday, I checked in, I was like, "Oh, is he good? Maybe he's still sick, maybe he's feeling well." He was like a new person, and it wasn't the burnout that, like, it was so bad and so deep and 6 months of buildup, it was just the burnout of that week. So I think we've gotta realize too that, like, 3, 4 days can burn you out to a point where it's extremely bad. We've gotta take the nap, or we've gotta take the reset, or we've gotta do the movement, or we've gotta do the yoga. I was just thinking about this when you were saying the breath. I went to yoga the other day, 3rd time I've been to yoga, so
Yay, that's
I'm
huge.
being consistent. You know how scared I was. Um, and the woman said, "If you're holding your breath right now, this move is too intense." And I started to realize, oh my gosh, when things are intense, when things are not going my way, when pressure's building up, when I'm nervous, I'm anxious, I'm scared. I find myself holding my breath, like, literally not getting oxygen to my brain, and I'm like, "Nate was just talking about this. Yoga was talking about this. I need to breathe more." So, your breath work stuff, the movement, the naps, like, how do you feel today?
I want another nap. Honestly, I just feel like,
What's holding you
okay,
back from taking one today?
I have an afternoon, like literally, like hours I have with a new client. So I'm like, okay, she's chill. It's not going to be like boom, 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 content, content, content. We're going to take our time. So I know I'll be okay. And then I have nothing after that. So I might just go to bed early. Um, which is sucks sometimes because I think our business brain is like, well, if I do that, then like the to-do list of the 20 things I wanted to do is going to get pushed aside. But I think we've also talked about this before is if I'm not running on 100% full steam, those things I'm going to do are not going to be 100% anyway.
Totally.
So I have to think about myself and I have to do the next best thing, which is just take it slow. And so I'm lucky because my husband is cool and he's chill and he understands. My daughter, her fever broke. She can take care of herself. My son's not here right now and not answering my text messages. So I'm just like, he's like, I'm in Washington, D.C. with my boys. Like, leave me alone, mom. I love that. So he's fine. He's okay. Like, he's taken care of. And so I know I can just shut off. Yeah. I think what I do have to do, and what I'm noticing more is, okay, if the book is getting pushed off every time I have something to do for the business, right? The passion project's getting pushed off. Then I have to do literally what we've told our clients to do, which is wake up earlier. It just is what it is. Just utilize that time in the morning. It's quiet. No one's bothering me. I can block out that time easily. And I just have to learn to focus on the thing that I want to do. Don't open emails. Don't open DMs. Don't open social media. And so yesterday I was like, okay, I think I just have to, if it's really bothering me that much and it's like starting to make me sad that I'm not doing the one thing that I wanted to do, then I have to make time for it. So I gave myself grace yesterday. I'm going to do it again later tonight. And then tomorrow we'll see what we can execute because I can tell like it's shifting my energy where I'm just like, I don't want to do anything else. And that's not where I want to be.
Like that level of awareness is so deep. I don't even think you realize how deep it is because you've now taken something that's important to you and you've restructured your life to put that on the front end because you matter and it's the relationship you're building with yourself. And I think for anybody listening, it doesn't need to be, I need to wake up an hour early. It could be 15 minutes that you're adding to your schedule. I think it's the repetition and it's the compound of those little steps towards the thing that makes you feel good and is a passion. It doesn't need to be, well, let me wake up at 4 AM when I've been waking up at 6 AM. Or it doesn't need to be in the morning. It could be, hey, instead of 30 minutes of TV, I'm gonna watch 20 for the next 3 weeks.
See, I don't watch TV. So it's like my husband will watch TV. I'll sit next to him. I'll have headphones on or my AirPods in or like one secretly here. So I pretend like I'm watching and then I'm doing work at the same time because it makes me happier to be able to get that done anyway. And my brain can focus on the 20 things at the same time.
Well, TV to you isn't your relaxation.
No, because I also worked in that world. So my brain, yes, it is for him. I worked in that world, so I can like literally almost write the show. Does that make sense? And then my brain gets stuck in like how they did that scene, how long that took, right? No, it's totally true. I can't watch a movie or a TV show because I see it completely differently than everybody else. I can't enjoy myself.
I know what you're talking about. When I go to an event, I have to literally tell myself, dude, you're here for the content. You're not here for the lighting that didn't go off, the mic that broke 7 times. They had to switch out the mics. I don't know, I was at an event, they had to switch out the mic 7 times. I'm like,
I
Dude,
would
focus on the
die.
content. Focus on the
I would
content, bro.
die. I was at an event once, and there was issues with the mics, and the whole time I literally was just like, "Oh my god, please fix it, please fix it." Like, I'm not gonna get up to help. I'm not gonna like just it's fine. It just made me insane. And so same thing when I watch other people's podcasts. I'm like, why are we doing it this way? What's going on? So I have a really hard time shutting that part of my brain off. And
So
so
don't,
just to be
don't,
able to
don't shut it
focus on the
out.
work is easier.
Yeah, don't shut it out. Just don't put yourself in that situation. You know, like I love how you
Don't watch
sit
podcasts
next
or
to
go
your
to events.
husband. Well,
I know what you mean.
don't watch the TV, and you're already doing that because you're editing the whole time, and your husband gets what he needs in that moment. And you're taking that moment to work. Um, I know this sounds a little odd, but and I've said this in a chat before, and I've shared this, but like if I'm trying to make 150 interactions a week for my business, and I know that I have to brush my teeth, use the restroom, shower in the morning, how can I integrate some of those interactions, right? So I think it doesn't need to be TV. It can be you taking a shit in the morning. I send out 15 text messages. Like, and I know that sounds weird and vulgar, but like that's the truth. Like what your life is yours. Integrate it into what you need. But I think for you, like TV is not that solution. Maybe it's you go to bed early, like you said, you know, rather than watching TV. I think that there is no framework for how you continue to gain, lose, and regain momentum. I think each individual has to figure out what works for them, right? Because like your husband's probably going, I just want to veg out and watch Netflix or Alone because it's a great show, probably the best show ever. Inside joke there between Rachel and I. Um, her, me and her husband will probably be on Alone together at one point in the next 10 years.
Trust me, he has pulled up the application many times. And I've said to him, if you give up because you miss me, don't come home. You can stay out in the forest. You are in it to win it, buddy.
I was just talking about impact of you and your husband. I know your husband and I haven't met yet, but I was telling Caitlin, I was like, "Oh, we have mushrooms in the yard." Rachel's husband will look them up, and she's like, "Stop, Jim. We're not foraging our backyard."
But
And I
you
was like,
can. There's so many things you can eat, but they could also kill you.
true. Like Ellie,
So
don't
funny.
eat that. That is not a strawberry, Ellie. That is a berry, and that will kill you.
Exactly. There's a whole app. You'll get lost forever. Don't download it.
So I guess the question to everybody listening is, how do you regain your momentum when you're feeling down? And do you have the level of awareness to identify, is this a physical thing? Did you not move today? Did you overconsume sugar? Are you out of balance? Have you taken your vitamins? I was just telling Caitlin, I was like, man, I feel really tired lately. She's like, you haven't been taking your vitamins. I'm like, that's exactly it. Like, that's the one thing that's changed. But how can we identify that? And then I think you and I talk a ton about energy, like what's giving you and what's taking energy. I think that's really important because you need to understand, do you want more of the thing or do you need less of the thing, whether it's giving you energy or draining it. And then ultimately, what satisfies you? What puts a smile on your face? What makes you feel like you're creating? Or what are you doing that you love to do because it's with others or certain people or groups? Or how can you do more of that? How can you follow that passion? Knowing you've got a big schedule, knowing you've got a lot going on, carve out the time. Like everybody has the same amount of time. And some people will hack it and say, I live 3 days within one. That's been really popular. And Ed Milet talks about it. All that is efficiency, right? And he segregates each part of the day in three, but he still has 24 hours. So what time are you carving out to identify why this has happened, create a massive movement to make sure it's not happening anymore, realize what's good for you, what you need to do more of that you don't have, and then double down on it. I think you can get into conversation around this is the exact way it works for Rachel or the exact way it works for Jim Morris, but I think everybody is an individual and some things may align that I do and some things may not align. I think we live in a world where everybody wants the framework, wants the shortcut, wants the hack. Understanding your momentum and then regaining momentum, I don't think there's a framework for that. I think there's ideas on what works for individuals, and maybe a lot of those ideas align, but you could be on the other end of this live and this webinar and be like, napping makes me feel like shit every time, and I don't want it." You shouldn't then, you know? Um,
Agreed. 1,000%. I also think, like, auditing your time for some people may be like, ugh, audit my time. But really, when I did that, I understood how much I was task switching, which meant I wasn't finishing anything. I was moving from task to task to task to task and back. That doesn't really work well if you want to get something completed. And then I also realized how many emergencies I allowed to happen, right? Like where a client needed me now, or somebody sent an email and I decided to answer that instead of continuing what I was doing. And so I feel like a lot of people who say, like, I don't have time in the day, or I don't have enough time, audit your time, audit what you're doing, not like the time you had blocked out already, how you're actually spending your time. Because that is when I realized, oh, I'm like responding to these emails and these text messages instead of just staying focused on the one thing that I said I was going to do during this time. And time blocking is great if you can stick to the time block. But what a lot of us do is we start to task switch. And then that block of time is over and you're like, I feel like I got nothing done because you didn't. So I think that's a huge help as well for those of us that are like, I don't have any time. Well, look at what you're spending your time on.
when I told you that I'm terrible at email, you were originally frustrated. You were like, "Jim doesn't answer his damn email."
Oh, he
Because
texts everything.
an email, though, is an instant to-do list that I haven't agreed to. If you're emailing me, you want something from me. You either need my time, you're selling me something, so you want my money, you wanna collaborate, you want energy, you want me on your podcast, you want me on your stage, you wanna hire me, you wanna do one-on-one. Those things are just a list of things that I need to do with an expectation that you sent it, I need to do it in a certain time frame. So do I read my emails? Yes. But if you need me or you need something in 48 hours, I would even say 72 hours. It's never gonna happen in an email because I don't want my email to become my to-do list. So you can run certain businesses that way. You can set expectations around that. But ultimately, I have control over my to-do list because I'm not letting those emails come in and just add to it or I can't control myself. I know that I can't control myself. If I'm in my email inbox or if it's popping up on my cell phone and it's ding, 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 I can't control myself. I'm gonna respond. So I know that about myself, and I know that that kills my momentum, so I just mitigate it. If you need something that's going to be such a big issue if you don't get it, you're gonna call me, and that's how I live my life. And if you're someone that's like, "I live my life by email," we're gonna have a tough time working together, and that's okay. I had my real estate brokerage reach out to me, and I messed something up on a form, and, the old broker, they're not there anymore, but they were like, "We sent you so many emails, and we're fining you, and you can get fined and all this stuff." So, there's a fine that I'm gonna get? It took you 11 weeks to call me to tell me? You know that I'm about to get a fine, or you're gonna distribute the fine. I don't even remember what the actual details were because I didn't even care. I just changed brokerages because I'm like, "You're telling me I'm gonna get fined. You're threatening me that I'm gonna lose my license. You're telling me gonna I have to pay the brokerage more money because I didn't do something, and it took you 11 weeks to pick up the fucking phone? It's not that important to you." Why is it important to me? Let's just say that our conversation didn't move in a positive direction, so we decided to separate employment. But ultimately, if it's something of that level of importance, you're gonna call me. So I'm not losing anything by not responding to emails for a couple of days. By responding to emails, I believe that I'm losing control over my business and control over my life and control over my happiness. Most of the emails are problems. I'm not skirting them, not ignoring them. I'm just handling the problems at my time. And when I'm burnt out, it's usually after going through emails. It's usually after having conversations with people that I'm not aligned with. It's usually, you know, my personal life is going crazy and my business life is going crazy. And then I look back and I reflect and I go, why am I burnt out? Why am I losing momentum? Because I've fallen off of those things that I had control over. I got into the email box. I started answering DMs at 6:01 AM after I woke up, and I didn't write the book, and I didn't do the thing that makes me excited. So how do we start to learn and navigate those things? I think you can do things like turn off notifications. You can have an auto reply. I mean, I worked with some every time I emailed them for f I hired them 5 months before they were gonna speak on the stage. So I communicated them directly for 5 months. They had an auto reply on their email all 5 months. I think that's a little too aggressive for me because then you come off as you're never available, but she had teammates reach out, so I could still communicate, but it was so separated that it was too separated. Like, I wouldn't work with that person again because I either want you or I want your team member. I don't wanna feel like I'm getting you and I get your team member. So I would rather you email me and I don't respond than you get an auto reply and then some random person who I've never met responds. My personal preference.
Well, I'll probably do that. So I'll start turning notifications off the phone for a little bit because it's just small blocks of time. And then is the auto reply okay? Basically saying either I'm with a client or I'm utilizing this block of time for dot dot dot. I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience. Like, is that weird to do so people know, like, don't keep stalking me?
No, I think my opinion, you shouldn't have an auto reply on for 5 months when you're taking clients
So I
and you
could
need
do it for the time period of that day, but not consistently every day as
yeah,
if I'm not checking any emails. Got it.
I just think 3 months in, I'm like, is this person alive or did they die? Like, they've been away for 3 months? That's not true. So now I feel like I'm being lied to. Like, you're not on a 3-month vacation. You just had an event I came to. Like, so it's I
We should
just
just
wanna
forgot
know.
to turn it off, Jim.
Maybe. I doubt it based on the characteristics of that human, but we can think that, yes.
All right. I will create an auto reply. I'm going to turn off notifications on my phone when I know I'm doing the thing that I can't be disrupted from, which is like working on the illustrations of my book. I'm going to keep listening to my body. So if I do need a break or I need to take a breath or I need to go for a walk, the walks don't have to be that long, which we've discussed before too. Like, it just get outside, go get some fresh air, go for a walk around the block and come back home. And then nap if nothing else is working and I just need to like be done, just take a nap if I can. If I can fit it in. So we'll see how this goes. I will let you know. Don't worry. All right. Do you want to wrap it up?
I was just gonna say, do what fits you. Spend some alone time. Think about momentum. Think about what burned you out. Think about the things that matter most to you and carve out some time to do those no matter what's on your schedule, no matter how busy you are. Whether you're just launched a product, you just hired 5 people, you just picked up 7 clients in a week, and you've gotta fulfill them, and you don't know what you're doing because 'cause you've never had 7 clients come on in 48 hours. Like, None of that matters because your level of energy, how you show up, your alignment is gonna be off, and as much as you're putting the smile on and doing the thing, the week after, 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after, you're gonna come back into that crashing burnout phase, and that momentum's gonna die. So, look for consistency, do the thing that matters most, carve out the time, and let's move through these down periods back into those momentum. Boom.
I'm taking deep breaths. We can do this. We've got this. And thank you everybody for joining us. We do these weekly on Tuesdays. And if you want to continue joining us, we do so much more inside the Impact Effect community. And just literally go to the link, impacteffectcommunity.com. So easy to sign up, and we'd love to see you.
Sounds good.
All right, have a great day. All right, bye.